Solving applications with inequalities. Today we're going to look at a couple of different word problems where we are required to use an inequality instead of just a regular equation. All right. The most important thing you can get out of this lesson today is to choose the correct inequality. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So let's take a look. Gabby the Gabber likes to text message her friends using her cell phone. She is charged $10 each time. $10 each time she sends a message plus $50 for the phone plan. All right, can we just stop for a second? I think we all can identify that this is going to be our slope and this is going to be our y-intercept, right? Because of the words each time makes it our slope, and then $50 for the phone plan is just a one-time charge because we're talking about a monthly plan, right? All right, we're going to write an inequality. So kind of what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and I want to use this. So 0.10m, right, for messages, plus $50. So we already got most of this thing, but now we need to talk about the rest of it. She is only allowed to have a bill that is at most $60. Write an inequality in terms of m that she can text each billing cycle. And then we're going to solve. So y'all take a look. What inequality is going to go here? And then we have 60, right? At most $60. So what inequality can I put in here that means at most 60? Remember, it's in terms of the left side. So the left side needs to be at most $60. Think about it this way. Does this number need to be less than 60 or greater than 60? Okay, well, if 60 is the most, then this side should be less than 60. I guess it could actually be 60, right? The most it could be is 60. So I'm going to add this little or equal to symbol over here. All right, so how much she's getting charged for her cell phone plan can be at most $60, which means it needs to be less than or equal to $60. Don't see the word most and choose a greater than sign. Okay, that is not correct. Think about the context of the situation and then decide on your inequality. Now, we're going to actually solve this thing. And we're going to solve it for the only variable, which is the m variable. All right, so I'm going to rewrite it over here. I'm going to do 0.10m plus 50 is less than or equal to 60. First things first, let's get rid of this 50 here. Okay, and I've got 0.10m is less than or equal to 60 minus 50, which is 10. Last but not least, divide out the 10. The 0.10, and we've got m is less than or equal to, which remember we did not flip the inequality because we divided by just a positive number. We've got 10 divided by 0.10, which is going to give us 100. So m is less than or equal to 100. On a graph, that would be a shaded in circle. And less than is going to go to the left. All right, and now go ahead and write a sentence here. Gabby can send at most 100 messages. All right, if she sends exactly 100 messages, her bill is exactly $60, and that is the most that she can afford. Oh, I guess that goes here. Explanation. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Javier purchased a car from his grandfather for $9,000. He agreed to pay his grandfather $450 per month. It's got to be our slope, right? Per month. Until the debt was paid in full. Write an inequality that can be used to find the number of months m Javier pays to reduce the amount owed on the car to less than $4,500. Okay, well, I really like this last sentence, less than $4,500, less than $4,500. That's already kind of given to us, right? So we really just have to decide on the 450 and then this number 9,000. Okay, well, I'm going to call this 9,000 the starting amount, right? He starts out owing $9,000. The slope is $450 per month. what is this inequality going to look like? What if this were on a graph? If he started way up here at $9,000, the amount he owes is going to be decreasing, right? So what does that tell you about your slope? Hopefully, it tells you your slope should be negative, right? Because the amount you owe is going down. And then you might also remember that the starting amount, another word for that is your y-intercept. So I'm going to write my inequality like this. I'm going to say $9,000 minus 450 M. Right? He starts out owing 9,000, but every month it decreases by 450 because that's what he's paying. All right, so in this case, the less than 4,500 was kind of the simple part, and we had to figure out this left side of it. So let's go ahead and solve. We're going to find the exact number of months he needs to pay to reduce the amount owed to less than 4,500. All right, so we've got 9,000 minus 450M is less than 4,500. All right, first let's get rid of this constant 9,000. So we've got negative 450M is less than or equal to negative 4,500. We're going to divide out this negative 450. And before we do anything else, we're going to remember that, okay, we just divided by a negative, so this has to get switched around. And we're left with M is actually greater than or equal to negative 4,500 divided by negative 450, which I believe is 10. Let's just double check. We got 4,500 divided by negative 450, which is going to be a positive 10. All right, so M is greater than or equal to 10. My graph looks like this. I've got a shaded in circle here, and greater than is to the right. So that's my explanation. Javier needs to make at least 10 payments, right? Because at least means 10 or more to owe less than 4,500. All right, you guys, I just realized I made a mistake. There should not be a little or equal to symbol. I added that. That should not have been there, which changes our answer just a little bit. Javier needs to make more than, right, more than 10 payments. So we're going to change this part. Not at least. This needs to say more than 10 payments to owe less than $4,500. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the last one here on the back. Example 3. All right, Colin received a $50 gift card from his aunt and uncle for his birthday. He decides to buy some neon-colored socks that are on clearance for $5 per pair. Again, that's got to be our slope. Look for that word per. And a t-shirt that is priced at $14. Write an inequality that could be used to determine S, the maximum number of pairs of socks Colin can buy if he also buys the t-shirt. All right, so $5 for the shirt. $5 for each pair of socks, plus $14 for the t-shirt, all needs to be what compared to that $50? Well, it's a gift card, which means you can't go over that amount. We're going to assume he has no cash in his pocket, right? $5 for each pair of socks, $14 for the shirt. This total amount needs to come out to what compared to 50? Well, hopefully less than, possibly equal to 50, right? If that's all he has, that's the maximum he has, then all of this needs to be less than that or possibly equal to that. All right, so we set up our equation. Now let's go ahead and let's solve for this S right here. We got 5S plus 14 is less than or equal to 50. We're going to subtract 14 here first. And I've got 5S is less than or equal to 36. And let's double check my math here really quick. We've got 50 minus 14, which is giving me 36. Now, when I divide this by 5, and remember, we don't mess with the inequality in this case, didn't divide by a negative, I get 7.2. Now, can you buy exactly 7.2 pairs of socks? No, not in the real world. Okay, so can he afford 7 pairs of socks? Yeah, right, because this number of socks need to be less than 7.2. Well, the next logical conclusion is 7 pairs of socks, right? Because that's the next whole number, right? Because only whole numbers make sense in this case. That's less than 7.2. So we're going to say 7 pairs of socks, and he can afford less than that, right? 7 is the most he can afford, the maximum he can afford. All right, and notice maximum, we still have a less than or equal to. Think about the context of the problem, and let's write it out. Who we're talking about here? Colin. Colin can afford a maximum of 7 pairs of socks. All right, my biggest piece of advice to you guys is to really think about the context of the situation when you're choosing the inequality. All right, give yourself a second, don't rush. Give yourself a second, figure out the context of the inequality before you decide which one to use. Also, don't forget your words for slope like per, each, every, all that good stuff.